Hey, welcome back to another nutritional tutorial video. Hope you all are having a good week. I'm gonna get right into the information. So we're gonna be going over intermittent fasting and why I believe it is the best dieting strategy that you can use when you wanna lose weight. So my favorite thing about intermittent fasting, as far as looking at it as a diet, is that you don't really have to eat a certain type of food. Essentially, you can eat what you want. You just have to really focus on your eating window. All intermittent fasting is eating in windows, eating in a cycle to where you are fasted for a portion of the day, and that remaining portion of the day you are in what they call a fed state. You're eating in that window. And typically the typical hours for intermittent fasting is 16 hours fasted followed by an 8-hour window. However, when I do intermittent fasting, I'm not gonna lie, I do a 14-hour fasted window and I eat in a 10-hour window. And anything less than that, I really wouldn't recommend, to say that you're actually doing intermittent fasting. You won't really get the benefit if you go less than 14 hours fasted. So a lot of people know that intermittent fasting is a good thing, but they don't exactly know how it works. So pretty much when you eat food, your body breaks down the food into what is called glucose, which is the body's main source of energy. If your body was a car, glucose is the gasoline. So once you are depleted and you eat food, your body breaks that food down into glucose and it goes into 3 sections of the body. The first section is, it goes back to like that immediate tank to be used directly again right away for immediate energy. It goes into the liver, which is kind of like the secondary tank, if you will, and then it goes down to your fat stores, which are the reserves. So the way that the intermittent fasting kind of like trumps and just puts a dent in all of that is when you fast for about 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours. When I always say burn more calories than you eat, a lot of people think, well, how am I supposed to burn more calories than I eat if I'm eating, upwards of like 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 calories a day? You burn calories when you sleep, but more importantly, you burn calories during your everyday activities, walking up and down the stairs, brushing your teeth, just moving about, you're burning calories. So when you're in a fasted state, say you wake up at 6 a.m. and your eating window is between, I'd say, 12 o'clock and 10 o'clock for me. So that means I'm fasted from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock. A part of my fast, I'm sleep, which is always good. And by the time it reaches about, 11 o'clock, my body has used up all of the glucose that is in my system. At that point, my body, will be hungry, but there are things you can do to kind of curb that hunger. I'll get into that later in this video. But essentially, what I want you to grasp from what I'm saying right now is by 11 o'clock on my eating window, all of my glucose is gone. So at that point, if I was to do a workout in that fasted state, my body would dip into the reserves, which is that third tank I mentioned, the fat stores, and excuse me, that will be where my body is pulling the energy, and by using fat for energy, I'm essentially burning that fat away. And that is the main reason why I would say for myself, 90% of the time, I like to work out fasted, is because I don't like to eat breakfast and then work out, right away, because I'm supplying my body with fuel. Then I'm using that same fuel that I just put in my body and using that for energy. So it's a little bit harder to get to the fat stores. Now, if I'm not like in a weight loss type of cycle, I don't really harp on it too much. But if I know I want to lose weight and I want to, dig deep and get it done as quickly as I can, I like to work out fasted. And like I stated a little bit earlier, there are ways around, making the fast work for you. What I like to do is I like to make sure that my water intake is pretty good, because drinking enough water really curbs your hunger. I feel like that's, people think that you have to take supplements and do all this other type of stuff where, it starts with your water intake. You have to make sure that you're drinking at least 2 to 3 liters of water a day. I would say 3 liters of water is like the bare minimum standard for me. Water helps me out a lot, and I don't know how you guys feel about caffeine. I'm kind of a bit of a caffeine freak a little bit, so I drink coffees, I do pre-workouts, things of that nature. So caffeine is really the #1 thing for me as far as an appetite suppressant. Like I said, if I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I have a coffee like around 9 to 10 o'clock, it's easy for me not to eat till, 12 or even as late as 2 o'clock, because once I get into a workout and I have caffeine in my system, at least for me, I feel like my appetite is just so suppressed and I'm never really that hungry right after a workout. So again, water intake and caffeine are going to be your 2 best friends to get you through a fast. And that's even if you struggle with it. Some people can fast like it's nothing, but gotta be on your water for starters. And I know I said in the beginning of this video that I look at intermittent fasting as more of like a weight loss benefit, but that's only where it starts. Intermittent fasting has a host of other benefits. It reduces inflammation, it reduces insulin resistance, which is going to, protect you against type 2 diabetes. It also improves your brain function. You'll find yourself just laser focused when you're doing things, and that, along with the caffeine, really just has you in a zone. Like, it's a whole vibe. You'll find that your skin will look better, and also they say that it has anti-aging effects where, like, I guess that coincides with the skin. It just makes you look younger, you'll feel better. And I know I said in the beginning of the video that it doesn't really matter what you eat, which that is a fact. It doesn't really matter what you eat when you're intermittent fasting, but I have found that when you combine intermittent fasting with, say, the keto diet, which keto is, it's kind of a hard thing to commit to if you're like trying to make yourself do it. But not only will intermittent fasting and keto be like the fastest way that you can lose weight, like I'm not even joking. Keto and intermittent fasting also share a lot of the same benefits, so when done together, they just amplify the results of all the benefits that I stated, to include weight loss. And the main reason for that is with the keto diet, you're already converting from glucose as your main energy source into fat. So you're already using fat for energy on the regular with keto. When you're intermittent fasting, you're in a fasted state and your body is, again, ready to use that fat for energy, because by the time you work out, your body is down to its stored energy, and that's pretty much all it has. So like I said, keto and intermittent fasting, they might as well just be a couple, because when done together, they work so well together that it's just like mind-blowing, and the benefits are just great as well. Now, with all this information being said, keep in mind my golden rule: if you are not eating less than what you burn, none of this will matter, at least from a weight loss perspective. So you can fast for 16 hours, you can get down to your 8 and eat 5,000 calories, just because you're doing intermittent fasting. Don't expect for the weight loss just to happen on its own, because it doesn't work like that. The #1 thing you should be focused on when you're in a weight loss cycle is that you want to make sure that you're burning more calories than you are eating, and then intermittent fasting alone will boost that number up. And like I said, keto diet, which that's optional, they don't have to be done together, but when done together, great things happen. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and leave the tutorial video at for this week. I really hope you guys found this beneficial, useful. If you have any additional questions about fasting, intermittent fasting, if you wanna know anything about keto, please let me know. Really hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Peace out.